In a world where most of the Earth's surface is covered by water, there is a special class of technology that has allowed humans to penetrate the depths of the ocean: submarines. These great machines are not simply underwater ships. They are independent ecosystems, mobile fortresses, and work and live places for dozens or even hundreds of people for months at a time. But how do submarines work? How can they dive hundreds of meters below the surface while ensuring the safety of the crew? These are the questions that this video will explore with you. And to answer them, we will start with the most important thing: the operating principle of a submarine. The modern submarine can surface or submerge in the ocean thanks to a very basic but extremely sophisticated system: ballast tanks. The principle here is based on Archimedes' force, a physics principle that you may have learned in secondary school lessons. When an object is dropped into water, it will experience an upward force called buoyancy. If the weight of the object is greater than this force, it will sink. If the weight is less, it will float. Submarines take advantage of this to change their actual weight by adjusting the amount of water in the ballast tanks. When the submarine wants to sink, valves open, allowing seawater to flood into the ballast tanks, increasing the mass of the submarine and reducing its buoyancy. The submarine begins to dive. When the submarine wants to surface, water is pumped out of the ballast tanks, usually by compressing air to push the water out. As the mass decreases, the vessel becomes lighter than the volume of water it displaces and begins to rise. While the principle sounds simple, controlling the depth precisely, especially when the vessel must maintain a fixed depth for a long time, is extremely complex. It requires a system of sensors, computers, and even manual operations by the commanding officers to coordinate smoothly. One of the biggest obstacles for any object entering the ocean is water pressure. For every meter you dive, the pressure increases by about 0.1 atmosphere. That means that at a depth of 300 meters, quite common with modern submarines, the pressure is more than 30 atmospheres, equivalent to being weighed down by 300 tons of water for every square meter of surface. To combat this, submarines are designed with pressure hulls, often made from super strong alloys such as high-strength steel or titanium. The hull is usually cylindrical, a shape that distributes pressure forces evenly around the hull, avoiding a concentrated point of weakness that could cause a rupture. However, there is a limit to how deep a submarine can go. Each vessel has a safe operating depth, which is usually between 250 to 500 meters for a standard military vessel. Specialized scientific vessels can go much deeper, such as the DSV limiting factor, which has reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench at over 10,900 meters. But that is another story. A crucial skill for a submarine is the ability to remain at a given depth without sinking or rising. This is called neutral buoyancy. That is, the mass of the vessel is exactly equal to the mass of the water it displaces, resulting in a balance between the upward thrust and the downward gravity. To achieve this, submarines use an extremely sensitive control system, combining ballast tanks, trim tanks, and sensors that measure depth, pressure, and weight. Control officers must constantly monitor and adjust to maintain this state of balance. If you imagine this as trying to keep a balloon in the air by blowing air from below, that is the challenge every time a submarine has to hang in the middle of the sea. Moving in an underwater environment is completely different from that on land or in the sky. Water is much more viscous than air, creating a lot of drag. Therefore, submarines often have a smooth aerodynamic design, almost like a teardrop, to minimize drag. Modern submarines often use electric motors, powered by batteries, charged by diesel engines, or by nuclear reactors. The rudders and diving planes help the submarine turn left, right, and up, down, similar to how an airplane steers its flight path. Submarines do very well, typically around 25 to 30 knots. But in the depths of the ocean, where nothing else can move, that's more than enough. Submarine structure. When a submarine dives into the ocean, it becomes a virtually closed world. Air, water, food, power, even light must be controlled and supplied from within. Therefore, submarine interior design is not only about engineering, but also a complex problem of psychology, physiology, and logistics. Every square inch of space is maximized, There is no room for waste. Most submarines are divided into many functional compartments, one after another along the length of the hull. Common structures include command bridge. This is the brain of the submarine, where the commanding officer monitors the navigation systems, sonar, radar, depth control, orientation, etc. All major decisions are made here. Screens display real-time information from dozens of sensors spread along the hull. Engine room, where the main propulsion engine, generator, battery system, or nuclear reactor is located. The temperature here is very high and the noise is extremely loud, so it is strongly insulated and soundproofed. Living quarters, including sleeping, eating, personal hygiene, small entertainment area. This is the only space where the sailors can rest after a shift. Weapons bay. If it is a military submarine, this place will contain torpedoes, missiles, or other specialized weapons. Torpedo or ballistic missile launch systems are often designed along the hull, with the launch tubes pointing forward or upward. Sonar room, where the equipment used to listen to sounds from the water environment is located. One of the main senses of the submarine, because the transmission of underwater radio signals is very limited. Despite the restrictions, everything is designed to ensure maximum efficiency. Sailors are trained to live on a 6 to 8 hour rotation. 6 hours of work, 6 hours of rest, 6 hours of personal activities and study. How to maintain air and temperature. One of the things that few people think about is how to breathe underwater for months at a time. Modern submarines are equipped with air regeneration systems, including generating oxygen from electrolyzing seawater, separating it into oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen is pumped back into the air inside the submarine, removing carbon dioxide by using compounds such as lithium hydroxide to absorb carbon dioxide exhaled by humans. Filtering dust and water vapor. The air filtration system helps remove odors, humidity, and dust from daily activities. In addition, the air conditioning system keeps the interior of the submarine stable at around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. Regardless of whether the outside seawater temperature can be as cold as 5 degrees Celsius or as hot as 30 degrees Celsius. A particular problem in submarines is the lack of natural light, leading to disorientation about time. Night cycle. This helps keep the sailor's circadian rhythm stable. Navigation, sonar, and submarine weapon systems. Under the ocean, light is virtually non-existent. Radio signals don't travel far. Visibility is severely limited because water absorbs and scatters light quickly. That means technologies like radar cameras and GPS, which are familiar on land, are virtually useless underwater. So how do submarines know where they are, what's around them, and who's tracking them? The answer lies in one of the most amazing technologies humans have ever developed: sonar. Sonar is a technology that uses sound waves to hear and see underwater. Modern submarines are often equipped with a full-body sonar system. Sensors are mounted along the hull, at the bow, and sometimes towed sonar decoys behind. Sonar technicians can hear and identify the type of enemy ship based solely on the sound emitted from the engine. When a submarine is deep underwater, GPS doesn't work. That's a huge challenge. If you can't determine your position, you can't navigate or fire weapons accurately. The solution is a system called the INS Inertial Navigation System. It uses accelerometers and gyroscopes to calculate current position based on speed and direction of travel from a known starting point. So submarines periodically surface to receive GPS signals, either using an underwater positioning system like LORAN, or via signals from support ships. Weapons.